Spot on, spot off. Marcus Smith says he would lean towards not repaving until we absolutely have to. TJ, spot on, spot off.
I mean, I'm for it. I'm leaning towards the same thing. I don't think it needs a repave right now. I mean, I don't spot off for, I'm spot on for his comments saying that we don't need to do anything with it because we saw great races Wednesday. We saw great races Saturday. Even the Open was dicey, just because you put the best guys out there and you don't see a bunch of wrecks, that's not a bad race. I mean, one guy, Brett mentioned earlier back in the day, guys won by laps. But this guy had a huge lead, but hey, he came and whooped everybody. That's how it goes sometimes. It's the first time at a facility too. So if we were to be going back there next year or, later this year, I anticipate the competition closing up even more. Everybody's been there one time. Everybody's going to make an adjustment. The competition will get closer and closer. It's kind of always like that. But look, I'm okay with it. A guy showed up. Somebody was going to do this probably. Somebody's going to hit the setup just right. And they did. They called the pit strategy right. They got tires, and cautions. There weren't no cautions to bunch everybody up. And Kyle was able to just drive through them.
Yeah, old saying, I came, I saw, I kicked ass. That's what he did.
And
I'm fine with it.
It's an all-star race, right? The best is supposed to win. And Kyle, it's not like Kyle has never won a race before, right?
Yeah. I had a conversation last night with somebody already I think you'll appreciate. And it was a spotter now, former driver, Brandon McReynolds. And I said, I feel like Kyle races so much that when he gets in any race car, he doesn't feel any pressure at all. Like he's in the seat right now more than any other driver in the field. And so when he's running literally sometimes 5 races, 6 races a weekend, not even counting heat races. Oh, not a weekend, but a week. And this guy, when he buckles in, like he doesn't get frustrated. He's able to keep his patience. He has more finesse than any driver in the field. And when I look back at Kyle Busch, when he was dominating, what was he doing? He was running 3 to 4 races a weekend, and now he's running 1, maybe 2, and he's not the Kyle Busch we used to see. Like, is that helping us see this guy be so great?
Well, you got to be in the car to get better. You can talk about simulators, and simulators can help you kind of, I guess. Now, I don't do this for a living. I just listen to what I think smart people say, and simulator racing is not the same. You guys have done it. You guys have iRaced.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same. You can say the car has a feel and this and that, but you know that you have to practice to get good at anything. Football players can use AR, and they have the AR goggles, like the quarterback can read now and watch a screen. It's all BS because when real bodies are coming at you,
you are hurt. That AI don't hurt you.
Right.
Walls don't hurt on the
And
same.
by the way, when you hit a wall in iRacing, you just reboot and start racing again. You can race differently in iRacing, right? So I don't think the simulator stuff is helping drivers get better. I think it's just an excuse now for, not being able to test and be able to run. What Kyle's doing and what other guys are doing now is driving more. You're just driving in a car more. So Kyle Larson, it seems to me, has the most confidence of anybody in the garage right now for a good reason. First of all, he's an unbelievably talented driver. And you remember when he first came up.
Yes.
I mean, he had no money, right? He just drove his way to a ride.
Yeah.
Right? So he's got this gift. And then he practices that gift. It's like any great player.
He practices it more than anybody else.
Anybody. In any great sport, they practice harder. They might have an ability. You look at any sport. Wayne Gretzky was the hardest practicer. LeBron James and Michael Jordan, the hardest practicer, right? You look at Peyton Manning, the hardest practicer, right? Any of these guys that are great. Kyle Larson is the hardest practicer, and that makes a difference in any sport.
I think oh, go ahead, TJ.
I was going to say, with sim stuff now, like I will say, if you go to, when we go to Chicago, I promise you the sim's going to help guys learn that track. And I will say with the lower amount of practice, we don't get much practice now at these places most of the time, 20 minutes or whatever. So, anything these guys can do to make that first lap on the track, just knock the rust off, the first lap on the track, be a couple tenths better because they're more familiar with it. And I think a lot of people, it's getting closer to setup stuff too. So, because we don't get to test anymore. So your testing changes and you're trying to develop stuff like that. But as far as the seat of the pants feel, Kyle Larson's by far getting the most seat of the pants of anybody. Doesn't hurt for sure.
I think sim helps engineering more than it helps drivers. I think the drivers are overused in
New
terms
facilities. I think it helps the drivers a lot.
It does, but I'm gonna tell you what. Right now, you could give me AJ Allmendinger at Chicago Street Course with 0 sim time, and I think he goes out there in his top 5 the first lap on a racetrack.
But that's his background, though. I mean,
I'm just arguing the fact that you said it helps them.
Well,
I agree with you. It helps them line of sight, road, eye things, but I don't think it helps them see the pants at all.
That's timing. That's the one, like we talked about. I said about the quarterbacks with AR.
Yeah.
You can learn about timing.
Mike Tyson said you can go in there with a hell of a fight, hell of a plan, and once you get punched in the mouth, everything changes.
Exactly.
I mean, that was, I think on the broadcast they mentioned that was Kyle Larson's 199th different track he's raced on.
Yeah.
Chicago will be his 200th. I mean, that says something. It's the All-Star race is the All-Star race for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Like if somebody else won that just by some chance because of the format won, people would be complaining.
If Ross Chastain doesn't keep wrecking Kyle Larson, he's probably got 3 more wins this year.
That's
he's the fastest guy out there.
That's what Cliff Daniel will tell you. He'll tell you that. By the way, Casey, we've got over a month until Chicago. It could be like 210 tracks by the time we get there.